welcome back to Navigate With Us, the Navigate with Colleen and Nate podcast. I am Nate, and this is...
I am Colleen.
And in case this is the first time, we know we've made a bunch of these episodes, but this might be the first time you're joining in. So we are a couple, obviously, and we cruise the world. We like to talk about travel and cruise ships and things like that. But we also vlog as well too. So I don't think people, if you're tuning in, this is our long form content. So it's a little bit different than our vlogs that we do. I don't know, Colleen, anything that I missed there?
Yeah, well, for those that probably don't know, I am a full-time wheelchair user as well. And I think that is one of the aspects of our channel where we try to show accessibility, traveling, and show that it is very possible to get out there. So we hope to do a little bit of that planning for you to make that type of travel easier if you are so in need of that information.
Yeah. And so we've got a great show lined up today. So some bad news for Virgin Voyages, especially the sailors, but they're doing right. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Then we have some unhappy Haven guest aboard NCL, and we got some great audio from that. And then finally, Tom Brady, the GOAT.
The GOAT. Goodness. You love him or you hate him. I think there's passion on both sides.
I was going to say, are you a Tom Brady fan, Colleen?
I would say yes, I am. Being born and raised in New England, now living in Florida. So he's done us proud in New England and he did well in Tampa. So yes, I am a Tom Brady fan.
I'm definitely a Tom Brady fan. To be honest with you, when Tom Brady left the Patriots, I stopped watching the Patriots.
Yep, I think that goes for the family here. Yes.
Yeah, but Tom Brady is going to be joining Delta Airlines, and so we will tell you all what that means. But let's hop into our first story of the day. So, Colleen, have you heard about the Brilliant Lady?
I have. I heard that it's, I think, the fourth ship for Virgin Voyages, and it was, I think, being built last I heard.
Yeah, so, it was set to sail this December. So obviously at this point, this is where a ship should be basically finished at this point. They would have done the float out. They would literally, with less than, what are we at, 120 days or so, they'd be hiring, and then crew would start, going on board probably 30 days before, like full crew and stuff like that to get the whole place ready. But unfortunately, there's going to be some delays. And a lot of this had to do with supply chain is what we're being told, and also hiring issues.
The darn supply chain. We can't seem to get it rectified. How many years have we been going on now with supply chain issues? And then that and staffing. That's just a shocker that's hard to... hard to find staff to go on the beautiful ships.
Well, I think a lot of it is, the cruise lines have to pay a lot more now for staffing. I think during the pandemic, people left the cruise industry and got other jobs. So now there's this kind of gap where you had these folks that were doing, working on cruises for 10, 15 years. All of a sudden they all exited and found work elsewhere. And we know that travel is obviously, cruise travel is really hard for crew members as well too. So, it's usually a better opportunity for a lot of people, but it's tough. Like you're away from your family from 3 to 6 months at a time.
Yeah, that is hard. It's certainly a sacrifice, especially if you've got a family back home, a spouse, children, to be away for that long. But, it's, there is some sacrifice, and they probably can build up a little bit of a nest egg to bring back home to the family. So there's pros and cons, I'm sure.
Yeah, but again, those were the kind of main things listed. So what does this mean? So this basically means the Mermaiden voyage is canceled. So they don't do inaugural sailings. They do Mermaiden.
I get it, Nate. I get it. Mermaiden.
Also the one after that, and then several other cruises are been canceled as well too, and also this is impacting itineraries on other ships. I want to say Valiant Lady's being impacted, and one of the other ones I'm not going to go off the top of my head, but they're going to be picking up. They're doing some shuffling. So shuffling. So last week, actually it was this prior Monday, Virgin was supposed to release their kind of, call it Q4 2024 sailings and kind of through Q2, Q3 2025 sailings. And obviously those were delayed and people were kind of like, what's going on?
Well, that makes sense. Behind the scenes, they're trying to figure out how are we reshuffling the ships?
Yeah. So there's, so other sailings are impacted as well too. So, but the good news is I think Virgin is doing right by folks as best as they can. So people have a couple different options. So the first offer one is you can rebook any ship, any date with with bonus onboard credit and price guaranteed. Okay, so what does that basically mean? It means if you had some special offer, maybe it was some sailor's loot, maybe it was onboard, which is the onboard credit or the bar tab, you keep all that. Plus the price that you paid, right? So if you're going from a Sea View Terrace to a Sea View Terrace, there will be no difference in price. If for some reason the new date costs less, you'll get that back.
Because that's what I was going to say is inaugural sailings are generally more pricey anyway. So I was like, this isn't much of a deal, but okay, if you get the difference back.
Yeah, and there's more. So hold your horses there, Missy.
All right, Nate. Enlighten me.
So the other thing is that you will get a bonus credit of $300. So sailors of onboard credit. And if you were on the maiden voyage, you'll get $500 of onboard credit.
So
what do you think?
They've sweetened the pot.
Yeah, would you switch? Would you be happy with that offer?
I would definitely be happy with that offer. I mean, it's a little extra spending cash. You can do some excursions. If you're really adventurous, you could get yourself a tattoo.
There's a lot of shaking champagne, I think, that's going to go on with these sailors.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so the shaking champagne, if you don't know, is basically you shake your phone with the Virgin app open and they bring you champagne.
Yeah, that could be really deadly. Maybe deadly is a bad term.
Very
expensive.
Well, yeah, but you're getting extra money. Now, here's the other thing, too. If these sailors rebook by October 11th, they're going to double it.
Ooh.
So if you're on an impacted cruise, that's not one of the Mermaiden voyages, you'll get $600 of onboard credit. And you will also get an additional $500 of onboard credit if you were on one of the Mermaiden, which is $1,000 of onboard credit.
Oh, geez. I think I could easily spend that. But then part of me is like, okay, what if you can't spend it all?
Well, you can't spend it. You can't spend it. I mean, and the other thing is, too, is Virgin's so all-inclusive. There's not a lot of, spa treatments.
Yep.
Merch.
Yeah.
You said you need some more merch.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of merch.
It's not, every time we're on a ship, I say, buy some merch. And you kind of look at everything and then you wheel on out of the store with no merch.
Because I think it's going to break the bank and I don't want to, I'm too tight.
For the record, folks, we are not living in poverty over here at the Navigate household. Yeah, but there's a lot. Now, onboard credit, the one thing with the onboard credit is that you can only use it once you're on board. So you can't use it ahead of time to book excursions. Hopefully that's something Virgin will change because it is something that is different from other cruise lines. Usually if you have an onboard credit, you can use it ahead of time to book things. So, which I kind of like.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. I guess you could, oh God, I don't even know how else you would spend it. Like test kitchen, trying to think maybe some other upgraded items.
I would just go down to the spa and shake the phone all day long.
Drink your champagne and get your massage.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, so offer 2 is you can get 100% of your voyage fare, basically full refund. And if you don't, now this is something I think is really unique. If you don't do anything, right, they will just automatically do it after December 28th, which is, I don't know, a lot of cruise lines during the pandemic were converting those fares into future cruise credits.
Yeah, well, that's nice. And then it takes away either for the individual or the travel agent to have to call and wait on the phone to do all of that.
Well, that's been the thing is they've made it really easy for travel advisors, and they're picking up a lot of the work on doing this and offering to help out where they can. So that's very nice. Also, wait, but there's more.
There's more.
Travel reimbursement. So if you have to change air travel and there's penalties, they'll pay up to penalties $500 per person.
Oh, wow. So if you booked your airfare independently,
Yes.
they will still cover.
Yes.
That's nice. They're doing it right.
They are doing it right. And that's basically it. So if you are sailing on an impacted voyage, you may be asking yourself, like, okay, how do I know if I'm on an impacted voyage? You would have been contacted, I believe it was on Thursday last week, in travel advisors. I think that was the only thing that I heard some griping about, is that travel advisors were literally told the exact same moment sailors were told. So that was the only feedback for Virgin was, hey, could you give us at least 2 or 3 hours ahead of time so maybe we can start doing, pick up the phone, call our client, explain what's happening versus them just getting an email, in there. So that's the only thing. But I think other than that, they did it pretty well.
Hey, I think for a new cruise line, I think Virgin is doing it right. And I think they are learning as they go. And maybe next time, if there's another ship impacted like that, they've heard the feedback.
Yeah. But so bad news for Virgin. Good news is they have a new CEO. So I can't remember his name, but he was the president of operations or something like that.
Yeah.
One of the founders of the cruise line. So he's going to be taking over as the new CEO. And I guess he really loves the brand. It was his idea to start it, I think. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. But and then also Virgin Voyages got another infusion, about $500 million from a private equity firm to keep expanding their ships. So they're not, if you're worried about like, oh, is Virgin in trouble? They're not in trouble.
They're not going anywhere. That's pretty crazy. $500 million.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of ships.
So there's just more to come.
Yep. More to come on the Virgin front. All right. So upset cruisers.
Jeez. That seems to be like the common theme over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think people, I don't want to call it nickel and diming because you kind of know up front like what you're getting. It's one thing if you purchase a cruise and then they change, the terms and conditions, or they come back to you at the last moment and are like, oh, now we're doing something differently. But when you buy something up front and they're like, hey, this is what the package is, this is what you get, this is what you don't get. I don't know. It's hard to start feeling bad for folks.
Yeah. And especially again, if this is kind of like your one big trip of the year, you've budgeted for it, and now all of a sudden, like, you get on the ship and there's like surprises that you hadn't budgeted for.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's right.
Yeah. So anyways, this comes from cruise.blog, B-L-O-G, cruise.blog.
Okay. Interesting.
Angry dad slams Norwegian Cruise Lines for robbery and extra charge items.
The dads are striking back.
So anyways, let me read this. So one angry dad is taking to TikTok to share his recent experience aboard Norwegian Bliss while taking a dream cruise to Alaska. The TikTok user, Mooney, criticized NCL for charging hundreds of extra dollars on board their cruise ships, such as internet access and Starbucks coffee. So I'll stop right there. Thoughts so far?
I don't know. Starbucks coffee, I don't really even buy on land, and maybe very rarely at sea. So I don't know. I feel like for me, it wouldn't faze me.
So anyway, this guy was staying, I'm not going to read this word for word, but basically he was staying in the Haven, which we've stayed in before. We
have. And so for folks that don't know, it's basically like a ship within a ship concept. So it is a suite level area that gives you, access to private dining, private pool area, just a much more elevated experience within the ship. So very cool.
Yeah. One thing though, I will say about the Haven experience, which I didn't like very much, was the fact that it's not all inclusive.
Right.
There are still things that you have to pay for. And I thought that we got a good deal because it was like right during we took kind of a gamble and booked a room during the pandemic. But I think that like for me, for the price tag, like that should be an all-inclusive. That's my personal opinion. It should be an all-inclusive experience.
Yeah, I agree. I think it simplifies the process as well. You book and that's it. That's your one price and everything's
I wish
there.
more, actually, not even NCL. I just wish more cruise lines would do that. So anyway, so first issue Mooney has is with the Wi-Fi. And instead of me reading it for you, let's just hear it from himself.
Okay, I do have a gripe on the Wi-Fi. $729 for unlimited Wi-Fi for the 4 of us for the week. I don't know how many people are on this goddamn ship, but there's going to be about 4,000 or 5,000. They're making millions of dollars on this Wi-Fi. And if you're not using it, they kick you right off of it. You got to sign back on every time, even though you have auto login. So the Wi-Fi is just, wow. Are you kidding me? Norwegian. You got to do better. This isn't 1996 with internet cafes where everybody's paying a fortune.
I love that. I love that comment. Did you ever go to an internet cafe when you were younger?
I'm trying to think back. No, I feel like I don't even want to date myself, but dial-up was a thing when we were in college.
I remember going to Europe, and this was in the probably like 2002. And like, yeah, if you wanted internet, you had to go to an internet cafe, and they were all over the place. Very, very popular. And you paid like, 10 euros and get like 15, 20 minutes or something like that.
Email home.
All right. There's a little bit more to this.
Get rid of this. Come on, enough. That's ridiculous. Okay, there's ways people make money, but this is robbery. Not a good look. Unbelievable.
All right. So the only thing I take note with there is robbery is when you force people to give you their.
True. Maybe the choice of words was a little off, but heck, $729.
It's a lot, and I don't remember this on NCL specifically having to log back in. I don't recall that. Do you? I mean, again, this is someone's opinion and experiences, and I think things can change. But do you remember that?
I don't. It's a little fuzzy. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, but I could see how that would be annoying, especially when you're paying that price tag.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I've never experienced that on any other cruise line, Royal or Celebrity. You just log on and you're on. I think that it wouldn't surprise me though, because think about it. They're using satellite internet, and the NCL or whomever, whatever the cruise line is paying for every bit of data that moves through that network. So I can understand like shutting it off, right? Because your phones, when they're connected to the internet or whatever your device is, right, it's always incoming, receiving things, whether you're actively using your phone, right? That's all the annoying dings you get all day long,
right,
on your phone. So that uses up internet. So I could believe that, but if they're doing that, I could say maybe like, hey, maybe after 5-10 minutes, someone's logged off, but make it easy to log. It should be like, maybe it's a one push or something.
5-10 minutes. Man, you're even being stingy here. I'm thinking if you're like inactive for an hour.
An hour. Okay.
An hour, then you get removed.
All right.
But you know what? Better yet, just disconnect. It's a crazy concept, but go on vacation, enjoy the time with your loved ones, whoever you're traveling with. Don't bother with the internet.
Yeah, that from the cruise vloggers that vlog every minute of their cruise and Instagram it to death.
Well, I would say pre-navigate with Colleen and Nate. I could probably disconnect.
Yeah, I could probably live without the internet as well too. So then he goes on. Let's see. I got to make sure I get this. So then he goes on to talk about Starbucks. So did you know that NCL has a unlimited Starbucks package?
No, because when we went on Encore, there was definitely no Starbucks option. I think there was just regular coffee.
Yeah, I don't recall a Starbucks.
Nothing
There might have been
elevated.
one. I don't know. We'd have to look. They're adding them more now, and some of the ships, I think the Prima ships have like 2 Starbucks.
My goodness.
That's a lot of Starbucks. But anyways, it's actually, I looked it up. It's a pretty good deal. If you like Starbucks, you basically get, it's like everything. I mean, you get, I'm just looking.
So they don't limit your size or the type of
No, I mean,
beverage.
It doesn't sound like it according to this, and it's $12.95 a day. And I just thought that was pretty. Oh wait, here it is. I'm like finding it here.
I could see you. You're such a big coffee drinker.
Yeah, $12.95. Okay, let me read this. So $12.95. Whether you need to kickstart your morning or you're looking for a post-dinner nightcap, you've got the perfect brew. Includes everything from classic coffees to teas to delicious Frappuccino favorites and other specialty beverages you love. Now, one of the things that's clearly stated here, you must be 18 at the age of sailing to purchase, which I thought was interesting.
Is that we just don't want to caffeinate our kids?
I
We
don't
think
know.
they already have enough
Anyways,
energy.
let me play this clip because Mooney definitely has some opinions on this. All right.
Another scam on the boat was unlimited Starbucks.
Another scam on the boat.
Could tell he's loving NCL.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy's going to be going back on NCL anytime soon.
Should I get unlimited Starbucks? You know what? Let me just get it for everybody. I paid the $12.95. Unlimited Starbucks. Me, my wife, and my kids. Okay, that's unlimited for all of us. Each. $12.95 each. Starbucks line all day at any time was an hour and a half. Sometimes 2 hours.
All right. So, yeah, you're giving away unlimited Starbucks. And we haven't been on an NCL cruise since they've started this, so we have not seen this firsthand. But if you've seen this firsthand, leave a comment down below. Have you been on NCL recently, and are the lines at Starbucks over an hour? Would you wait an hour for a Starbucks coffee?
Goodness, no. No way. I'll just go put some milk in my coffee and call it a day.
Yeah.
I don't need anything fancy.
You don't need no fancy.
I don't need no fancy coffee.
All right. There's more. This is long. I don't know if I'll play this whole clip, but let's keep going.
I thought I would get 2-3 coffees a day. You know, it would make up for my $12.95. There's no way I'm waiting 4, 5, 6 hours for 3 coffees. Turns out after we get there, they tell us, oh no, if you look at your charges, only you and your wife got charged the $12.95 per day each, because the deal's only for people 18 years of age and older.
Now, I will say it does clearly state here. Now, did it say that at the time when he booked it? I don't know, right? This is just his experience, but it does say right here, must be at least 18 years of age at the time of sailing to purchase. But it's not alcohol, so I'm still confused as to why if your kid wanted
Right.
Starbucks,
Well, there's
like-
hot cocoa. There's options out there that are, caffeine free, and like some like the bubble pink drinks and
Yeah. Well, Mooney has a theory.
okay,
on
let's
that.
hear it.
Obviously, they don't want to give it to any of the kids, because the kids are the ones that drink the fancy, funky stuff that's $8 a shake. The coffee, cookie crumbles, the strawberry acais, they're expensive. They would lose out on that. So they don't allow people under the age of 18 to buy the unlimited Starbucks, because they know they're going to lose money, because the kids will wait all day and the kids are going to get their shakes.
The kids will wait all day and the kids are going to get their shakes.
Not that I'm like, too much of a rule breaker. I think I'm a rule follower for sure. But why wouldn't you just maybe get an extra coffee while you're in line for
Maybe.
your kid?
So let me look. I looked at the full terms and conditions. So it must be at least 18 years of age at time to book. Package must be purchased by all qualifying individuals residing in the stateroom, kind of like an alcohol package now. So if you want Starbucks and you get other people in the thing, everyone's going to get Starbucks. Package may not be shared. It's not transferable. Eligible guests are entitled to 1 beverage per person per transaction.
So that got kiboshed.
Yeah, you're trying to break the system there.
Well, it's like
Rule breaker. NCL, pay attention. Pay attention. Colleen comes on board. Keep an eye on her. She's a squirrely one.
6 hours. Like adults are getting like that much of a caffeine fix on a cruise. I don't get it.
Yeah. All right. So there's a little bit more. Let's see if there's anything else here.
The adults, people over 18, they're probably drinking regular coffee. Let us drink as much coffee as we want. If you want to wait online for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. I got my...
Now, I'm going to disagree with, because I do not like Starbucks coffee at all. If I'm going to Starbucks, I'm getting like a caramel macchiato
Yeah.
or something.
More of a desserty drink.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I think their coffees taste way too bitter. Sorry. Not sorry.
One coffee very early in the morning when the wait wasn't that long, but it was long. I paid $12.95 for one coffee every day. It was absolutely ridiculous. Huge scam. Huge scam.
It's a huge scam.
Huge. If you know that reference, let us know.
I think only people at Southwest Florida are going to know that.
Yeah. But anyways, now here's a question. So if you're in the Haven, you have this coffee package. Could you use your butler to take care of this for you?
Oh, that's brilliant, Nate. Go send your butler down to stand in
why
line.
Why are you standing in line? And you know where we saw this? I saw this on Royal. So the Royal Genies.
Oh.
If you are in one of their suites, now granted, you're probably paying for star class $40,000, but the Haven's pretty pricey. You can get up there $24,000 or so. But yeah, the Royal Genies would take the Starbucks order and put it in with the Starbucks baristas, and then run it back up to the suite for everyone.
Now you're talking. That's pretty brilliant.
That's some next level thinking.
That
there.
is. Well, that would be, I think, another perk that they should add for Haven guests.
Yeah. So again,
Coffee runner.
Yeah. And how about this? Put a Starbucks in the Haven.
There you
You've
go.
put one everywhere else on the ship. Now he goes on. Some of the stuff is kind of funny. I'm not going to read it, but they were on an Alaskan cruise. And one of the things he didn't like was that the atmosphere in the Haven pool area was dead.
It's Alaska. What was he expecting? Like beach volleyball and Party City?
It's a chill vibe, and I think people go off the ship and they do stuff, and that's what you're paying for. Is you're actually paying for a chill vibe. So I would say if you're going to go on NCL, you're going to book the Haven, watch some videos. We have some videos on the Haven. Go watch them. You can get a feeling for what the vibe is. It's not a raucous party. It's pretty chill.
It is pretty chill. And I think that's, for me, that was what was appealing, was having kind of that quiet getaway area.
Yeah, just leave the Haven. It's a party.
It really is. You don't have to go very far to find the action.
You have to walk a few steps. All right. So anyways, well, I hope Mooney keeps on cruising, maybe not with NCL, but again, if you've had experience with NCL, leave it down in the comment. You can watch our videos and get our recaps and thoughts on NCL. We're not going to rehash all of that here. All right. Moving on to our final story here. Tom Brady.
Brady and Delta. That just does not seem like a partnership that I can envision. But
Well, let me read this. So this is coming from Insider Travel Report, which is kind of like an industry newsletter. But this one is about Tom Brady joins Delta as a strategic advisor in multi-year partnership. So Delta Airlines, 7-time Super Bowl champion, entrepreneur, and philanthropist Tom Brady have announced an innovative new partnership connecting Brady's expertise in teamwork, performance, perseverance directly to Delta as a long-term strategic advisor. So what do you think about that?
well, I think he can lead a team to a Super Bowl, but I don't know. Are you just like there to kind of energize everyone? Like, or are you actually taking like your practices on the field and trying to translate that into corporate America?
Yeah. So let me break down a little bit. So the unique partnership includes multiple elements that will involve Brady. All right. So those include employees. So Brady will partner with Delta to develop and advise on strategic training and teamwork tools for the airline's more than 90,000 employees. Now, okay. Like, is he really, I mean, is it more like, hey, Tom, this is what we're going to do, and then we want you to pitch it to the employees?
That's what I was going to say. Is it just like, hey, Tom, can you come into this conference room? We're going to bring our, our top 20,000 associates there. You're just going to talk to them, get them energized, and that's it. Like,
probably going to be a little bit about that. It's going to do customers, so leaning into Delta's Keep Climbing ethos. Brady will support the company's brand identity in select elements of Delta's marketing and customer engagement. Now, that makes a lot more sense to me.
It does. It does. God, I wonder what they're paying him to act in this role.
Well,
I'm sure it's a pretty penny.
I'm sure it's a lot. I'm sure it's not cheap. Brady will in communities. Brady will support Delta's work to positively impact communities where employees live and work, inspiring the next generation of Delta community leaders. And again,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that because I'm sure, again, it's an industry that's probably tough, especially having gone through the pandemic and just the crazy stories we hear about with people and how they act while flying these days. So, if we can make it a little bit more, involved with the community, getting people interested into this as a career, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. So basically, it looks like he's going to be doing working with Delta's employees for onboarding, cultural familiarity, and immersion. So basically, he's going to be in the training videos.
Well, if I fly on Delta, is he going to be the one that's doing the how to put your life jacket on?
Yeah, that would be good, actually. Actually, he will appear on Bastion's Gaining Altitude, a one-on-one discussion series featuring important conversations around overcoming adversity, performance, perseverance, and more. I think that must be some type of internal, show that they have there.
Well, can I reach out to Tom Brady to try to get accessible restrooms?
Yeah, seriously. Tom, if you're listening, help us out here. We just want bathrooms Colleen can use.
That's it. Super simple. I just want to, be able to go to Japan someday.
Man, on my last flight, that I took to Dallas on American, I could barely fit in that lavatory. I couldn't stand up.
Yeah.
At 6'2".
I'm not surprised.
I was hunched over. It's picture me trying to use, go number one, hunched over.
Oh, that's quite a visual.
Yeah.
Oh, glad you survived, Nate.
I did survive. I will survive. And you all survived another episode of Navigate with Us. If you made it all the way to the end, we would welcome you to smash that like button. It does make a huge difference. Lots of you smash the like button. Please leave us a comment. The comments is the best way to help us grow this channel. It's completely free. And subscribe too. So if you like this longer form content, again, as we mentioned, we will be going on Virgin Voyages very soon. We'll be vlogging all that content as well too. Also, if you do need to book a cruise, head on over to nywtravel.com. That's nywtravel.com. We can help you book your dream cruise vacation. It doesn't cost you anything additional, and the proceeds go to help this channel because, Miss Colleen, you want to take some more cruises, don't you?
I do. My goodness. I've got a long, long list, Nate.
So we have a long list here. So anyways, we thank you again for tuning in. And as always, navigate your world.